Yo, what up? It's Johnny2phones, and you're rocking with the music shop. Johnny!
Hey, what's good, guys? It's OG Illa, and I'm here with the music shop, and I got a special guest. We got Johnny2phones. What's good, man?
Yo, just chilling, man. What's up with you?
Not much at all, man. Not much at all, man. We just been you know what I'm saying, excited to get this underway. Y'all responded really quickly. I was surprised about that. I thought, you know what I'm saying? I know you're a busy man, so I'm so glad that what's his name? Raul got to me. So I'm really appreciative of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you caught us on a day where we were like responding to like all the DMs on Instagram, so it was like perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So you're becoming kind of like a household name, and your origin story for how it kind of like blew up is just unique, and it's actually kind of beautiful in a way, because it was so, what I feel like was pretty organic. um so can we just go back to that day that you played the song for your father in the car, and can we just like kind of replay that moment, what you even thought when you were playing the song for him in the car, and then we can get to the madness that happened afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. So, I've been doing music for a while, and like I was doing pretty good. Like I had a million plays on another song before I even dropped Rescue. So like my dad knew I did music. It wasn't like I dropped out of college already to do music. Like I gave up like I played basketball in college. Like I already went through all that. So like he knew I made music, but it was never like, I don't know. I don't even really play my music for my friends. So I want to say I was nervous to play it for him, but it was definitely like, oh, we're in the car. Like I see people doing this on TikTok. Like, let me just try it with my dad. And then like his reaction really connected with people, and it was like a genuine reaction.
It connected with me, you know what I'm saying? It definitely connected with me. It definitely reminded me of the first time that like my parents like took me serious, you know what I'm saying? And I thought that was just really cool that you caught that on camera, because you could tell he genuinely liked the song too.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing that for camera.
Yeah, that was like a huge part of like why that song worked so. I mean, why that video worked so well. Like people like were like genuinely fucking with the song too. So I think that was like the dope part where it was like, damn, they kind of like fuck with me as a person, and like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because for a while, I can guess yourself, but when something like that happens, like you kind of just realize that it's never like, in my case, I think it's like, oh, the song, it's not that the song wasn't good enough. It's just that like maybe your marketing strategy could have been better. Maybe like it just didn't, like, it's not, sometimes your marketing strategy is fine. Like sometimes shit just doesn't hit.
Like sometimes it's a good song, but it's not a good song for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So so following that madness, what were your thoughts like once it started blowing up and you realized, hey man, this is connecting with people, this is going the way that I want to, marketing's hitting, they've connected with my dad, with me, like what are you feeling at that point?
It was definitely like a rush. Like I kind of got addicted. It was like a bad thing almost, because I got addicted to I used to like just sit on TikTok and like reply to comments all day, and like I got addicted to seeing like, because once a video goes viral like that, like your notifications are kind of like off the charts. So I almost had to turn for a little bit. But I was more so thinking like, how do we just make the most out of this moment? Do you know what I mean? And it's definitely like a lot all at once, because we didn't plan for that. Like that's like the type of thing like nobody can plan for. Like that one is just like, it got like 23 million views on Instagram. Like that was like when Reels first came out and all that shit was happening. So like it was nuts. Like Drake, I don't know if you know, like everybody was hitting me up. But what is his name? Jazz Prince.
Yeah.
J,
Jay Prince.
Like he like DM'd me, and I'm like, what the fuck? This nigga just saying it's mad weird because he didn't reply to it. He just said, hey. And I'm like, yo, it's good. And then he just didn't reply. But it was still a fact. Yo, Jazz Prince just DM'd me, bro. Like, this is like real life right now. You know what I mean? So
yeah, Jay Prince is a legend in hip hop, especially like connecting those dots. So
yeah. So it was definitely like, in my head, I'm like I'm Drake from here on out. Like, you know, like
that's awesome, man. So that producer that made that beat, do you work with him regularly, or is that just something that y'all connected on in that particular track?
Yeah, so I've worked with the same two people for the past like 5 years. So shout out 100G, he makes my beats, and then Jake Manex makes he records me and mixes my music. and it's been that way for the past 12 drops. So
Okay.
we've within our like, I like to keep things like within
The camp.
yeah, within the camp.
Yeah. And that keeps security, but it also is like y'all all seem to, you know, have the same vision for you. And it's
Yeah,
really good when that aligns.
the reason I do it is just because like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way you're gonna sound 100% different from everybody else. Like, everybody at some point, like, you sound like something else. But like, I'm not a copy of anybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have our own sound, and like, we're really like, we take that shit like very serious. Like, I hate when like, I don't know. Like, I feel like some people find it as a compliment when they're like, "Oh, you sound like such and such," but I hear that shit, I'm like, no, I don't. Like, you know what I mean? I
Oh
don't.
yeah, I'm a white rapper. I sound like Eminem and Mac Miller every time somebody hears me. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't sound nothing like these guys, but you know what I'm saying? Every time someone, oh,
And like,
yeah.
well, you know what I mean? People aren't like as bit like a music nerd as I am. So I'm like, nah, I'm doing it completely different. And they're just like not even they're paying attention to the overall vibe, which is fine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, and I just actually tweeted something about that. Like the creators, we're in love with the process, and the fans, they're in love with the final product. You
Yeah.
know? And a lot of people are so in love with the final product, they think they want to get into the process of creating, and it turns your world upside down. It's not the same thing. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a very stressful process.
Yeah. So let's talk about your process a little bit. Like when you create a song, or you get in that mode to create a song, are you somebody who writes? Are you somebody who goes to the booth and you just record? Are you a mix? How do you go into that process, or is every song different?
I definitely say like every song is different. Like Rescue kind of so a lot of the time it really depends on the beat. Like if it's like a rap song where I'm just like rapping, that's like, oh, just play the beat, let me go in there and I'll like figure this out in like the next 20 minutes. But a song like Rescue, where it's like, yo, I want to like give a piece of myself, I want to really like put this story in the song, that's usually like, um I usually start it like, I have this notebook that I write in, and I'll just like write down the situation. Like I'll just write out my thoughts on it, and then like that kind of gets your like ideas flowing, and from there like I'll just like kind of see where it takes me. If I find a beat to match, or if I make a melody, I'll ask Hunter to sit down and make the beat. Sometimes I'll go to like songs that I used to like fuck with heavy. Like a big one for me, I go back to is like fucking, oh, now I can't think of it. It's a Kanye West instrumental. I go to a lot of Mac Miller instrumentals, and I'll just rap over it, and I'll try to make melodies, and then I'll like take that melody and switch it up a little bit, and then record that melody with no beat, and then just to a BPM, and tell Hunter to like to make a beat around it. So like there's a bunch of different ways we make music. Like we backwards make music a lot. Like we backwards produce.
Yeah, I think that says a lot to like, one, you to be able to see the vision beforehand, but also for your producers to like know what your vision is for the track. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you can sit. I've sent songs out with acapellas, and I've gotten beats back that they weren't it. Yeah.
That definitely happens a lot. Like we're not magicians, but like it's just like once you know where it's like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Because sometimes Hunter is the same way. Like Hunter G is the same way as I am. Like sometimes like shit is just not hitting, but like our song we just made that I haven't even previewed yet, I think it's like probably the best song we've made to date. It was to an acapella that I sent him, and then he made a beat to that, but we didn't like it, and it kind of just sat there for a little bit. And then I sent him another acapella, and we just like put that acapella on that old beat, and it was like, yo, we just did something. So it's really, it's just there. Like that's what like our rule is. Like we just go for quantity. Like obviously we go for quality once we have a song, but like when it comes to ideas, it's definitely quantity over quality for ideas. But as far as song releases and all that shit goes, it's like quality. That's when like the quality aspect kicks in. But at first, it's just like just try to get an idea going. Because even if the idea is shitty at first, the lyrics aren't there. You could always switch that once you have like that it factor in the song, like where you're like, oh, okay, I can see this working.
Yeah. And as an indie artist, you have that creative freedom to choose which tracks you want to put out. And I think that's super important. Can we talk about like, have you ever had a single or song where you felt really strongly about, and your team were like, nah, man, that's not the one? And you know what I'm saying? And what'd you do about that? Did you end up putting the song out, or did you not put the song out?
at the end of the day, if I fuck with it, that shit's going out. Like if I mean, Hunter kind of laughs at me. Like sometimes he gets mad. He's like, because I definitely take into consideration what other people are saying, but I also don't give a fuck what other people say. Because it's like at this point, like I know my shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I know what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. So it's like,
and it's still your art at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, it's like I like it, so fuck it. But I also know, like, I know my shit. I know, like, what, and I'm like super in tune with what's going on in every music scene. So it's like I kind of know. But like the song pissed me off at first. My team like didn't like it. They were like, "Yo, this is like complete switch up from what you're doing. Like, this is an acoustic song. Like, this sucks." Da, da, da. And at first, dropped it. It didn't do well. But then, like I said, like sometimes it's not about like whether the song's good or not. It's about like where you put the song and like just the internet sometimes. Promoting Sounds picked it up, and then they posted it on their YouTube page. It got like 300,000 views on their page. Like all the comments were just flooded with like, "Oh my god, it's the best song ever! It's the best song ever!" So now in my head, you start like, you know what I mean? Like you listen to that, you're like, "Oh, this might be my ever." Like what the fuck? So from there, like I don't know if you've heard of Patrick CC. He put it on his YouTube. Now the song like that started. Yeah, now the song that started off with 50,000 plays has 2 million. So it's like,
Jesus.
Sometimes it happens. And the same thing with Into the Sun. Like before Rescue dropped, Into the Sun only had 92,000 plays. Now it has like 1.7 million. So it's like, don't ever like second guess your music. It's never the music. If you know your shit is hot, it's never the music. It's just like, give it a chance to breathe. Like Juice WRLD dropped fucking Lucid Dreams 2 years before it dropped. Like Boot Up was out 2 years before it blew up. Like all these songs are out before it blew up. So it's never.
Most of the major records that used to blow, especially back in the day, spent about 2 years circulating. Yeah.
Because you got to think, you go through this period, like where I'm at right now, you go through this period where it like blows up. And then like you got to figure out who you're gonna go with. Like you have to figure out like, oh, what am I gonna use this money that I just made for? Like, am I gonna buy something or am I gonna put this right back into music?
And what am I gonna put it into if I do put it back into the music?
Yeah, and you have to figure that out because like a lot of people think like you just put music towards, you put money towards music is gonna work. It's like no, you have to figure out like what really works. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there who are willing to steal your money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very very much so. And I think that's part of the struggle of an indie artist is, you know, wanting to have faith in your art and take the leap, and then also juxtaposed to all the people out here that you know, take advantage of that. And you know, that's pretty fucked up. But so we can't talk too much, but I do want you to just give it some slight advice to artists who may be put in that situation. You know, like how would you navigate that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's been a couple of times I've been put into that situation, whether it be management, whether it be friends in the circle, whether it be just anything. I've been in this thing. I was supposed to build up with artists, you know what I mean? There was artists that I was on the rise with a while ago where it got into a sticky situation like that. So it's really just like watch who you keep around you and just don't rush into papers with anybody. You know what I mean? If a manager or if anybody is like, I want to do this, that, and that for you, that's fine. That's great. But if they're like, but you have to sign right now, not every good look is a good look. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, why does he want me to sign right now? That doesn't make sense. Like any manager or anybody who I've ever talked to who's good people, good connections, good like good rapport like within the industry, usually gives you a little bit of time to feel them out because they have to feel you out. Like they're like any really worth working with has to feel you out because they want to make sure you're not an idiot. They want to make sure you don't waste their time. So it's like an equal thing. Like that's what it should be. Like if anybody's like, oh, do it now, that's an immediate red flag because it's like, fuck are you so hyped to work with me for? I'm not Drake. You know what I mean? So it's
not even that. I like how you said it, man. It was perfectly how you said it because it's just like any other relationship. You don't marry somebody you just met a month ago. You fill them out. And it has to be on both ends. Just because the wife wants to get married and the husband isn't ready, it's the same type of concept. It's all about relationships and like you said, that energy. So that was a great way to put it right there.
And like I said, like if they don't respect that, that's fine. You don't have to like badmouth them. Like they might not just be for you. Like I said, like every good look is not a good look.
Yeah. And everybody isn't supposed to work together. Like, you know what I'm saying? They could be great people and it still not work out because of, you know, how you move and how, yeah,
each other. Yeah, exactly.
exactly. So, um, we we got we got some new music coming out by Johnny2phones, but I want to talk about something funny real quick.
Yes, sir.
You have muskets. You have Revolutionary War. Yeah, let's talk about, because I think this is actually really cool. We've seen a little bit from Luda back in the day, Busta, Missy. Now we see a lot from DaBaby, where it's like people are not taking themselves so serious all the time, and they're having fun with it too. You know what I'm saying? You're not going total Lil Dicky, but like, hey man, this is something I'm enjoying. I'm gonna have some fun with this one real quick. How exactly did you come up with that song, and what put you there to like make a song about the Revolutionary War to the baby beat?
Oh, I just like in that period of like what was going on, I didn't want to drop my own music because I was still figuring out my own situation, but I didn't want to lose like
momentum.
Momentum. Even though I did lose a lot of it, like I still wanted to keep the fish I had in the net. So I was just doing these remixes because like I grew up on mixtapes, like, you know what I mean. So it was like, oh, like why don't I just start remixing songs and like making these little videos to them, like let's see where this takes me, let's see what happens with this. So I was doing that for a while, and then I did the Nicki Minaj one, which was like the biggest one I did, which was super dope because her DJ.
That's the one that you had the girls in the front yard, right?
Yeah.
That one's fun. That was fun, man. I've
Yeah,
been watching you for a while, bro. I've been watching you for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my favorite one. That was the most fun to do. And then I actually got to meet. I'm actually cool with Nicki's DJ off that, so it's cool with that. And then so I was doing that, and then the baby dropped. Fucking what's it called? What was the name of that song? Red Light Green.
Okay.
Red Light dropped that song, and like I just kept reading through the comments, and I Zoom's that annoying.
Yeah. Okay. So we were at the baby song. So you were right about at the Red Light Green Light.
Okay, yeah. So Red Light Green Light dropped, and I kept like the ongoing joke throughout Twitter and TikTok and everything was like, "Yo, this sounds like some Revolutionary War type shit." So I that and was like, you know what, that could be a viral ass idea. Let me just write to it. So I wrote to it, and I was like, yo, this is kind of fire. So I done. Yo, and the craziest shit is this was definitely a waste of money, and I didn't make any money off this song, but it was just fun to do. Went on Amazon and I bought like 3 costumes for me and my friends, and the shits were like $400.
Oh my god!
But I was like, yo, fuck it, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
So went to like, I'm from upstate New York, so we have a lot of like Revolutionary War spots because that's where like a big part of it happened, or like it's just like old wars. I don't even know if it was a Revolutionary War that happened up there, but fucking they were selling muskets like at this museum, and it was like, oh dude, they have muskets, they had like everything you could possibly
you had to grab it.
Yeah, they had the Civil War money, they had the map, they had everything, they had the wigs. I'm like, oh yeah, we're lit right now. So we just did that and drove around, found a little spot that looked colonial, because like a lot of the areas in upstate New York are still colonial. So we just did it there, and then dropped that on TikTok and Instagram. And then TikTok, it kind of got like 500,000 views. And like then the Founding Fathers, a page with like it's 3 dudes, and they dress up in colonial costumes on TikTok. I kind of messaged them, and I was like, yo, bro, you guys want to like you guys see this? And then it became like a whole blue coat versus red coat beef, and the videos went back and forth for a little bit.
That's so fun.
Like I just think it's crazy that like TikTok allows people to dress up in costumes, make a diss track, and have a war. And like this is really like going on right now. Like before, like that's why social media is crazy. Like that shit was not happening before. Like that really just happened.
Yeah.
And it was normal. Like nobody questioned it. It was like, yo, this is fucking lit. And like
they were waiting for the next one.
Huh?
They were waiting for the next one.
Yeah, no, dead ass. And it's like, yo, bro, like, what the fuck is on right now? It's like a part of me was like, damn, am I gonna be a meme rapper? But then I was like, as long as you bug on the song, like, as long as I bug on a verse, like nobody cares.
Yeah, nah, man. I think when you put it together the right way, none of that shit's gonna ever matters.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's like, even if like, you know what I mean? Like I fuck it, like whatever, I'm having fun.
Yeah, and let's just be real. If you become a millionaire off of a revolutionary song, maybe you need more credit there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So ain't nothing wrong with that at all, man. But yeah, I had to talk about that because like I love the fact that you're having fun with it still. I know the shit is stressful right now, but it's good to see that you are remaining or trying to remain positive through it because a lot of people quit in these situations. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think you're an inspiration to artists in general, but in particularly uh indie artists who are also trying to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, so like independent artists and even artists, like a lot of people, I think people get so caught up in the independent artist or sign artist argument, and it's kind of a dumb argument because like I know both sides, like I've seen both sides. Um, a lot of people think you sign to a label and like life is grand. Sometimes that shit is not
It's
like
not.
as good. A lot of fans are like, "Oh, you signed now, everything's just handed to you," and it's like, "Oh, you signed to Columbia, who has Lil Nas X, 24 Golden, and all these other artists, Polo G, who are 10 times bigger than you, get the budget they want, and like you're like the guy at the end of the list who's like, yeah, well,
We'll
what do you
figure it
got?
out. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out. We'll let you
out.
know after we do the books this year.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
we'll your email 3 weeks later when the song's already fucking out. And it's like, yeah, you got to realize like you have to build up your leverage before you even go to a label, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like a
Or
lot of
you're
people.
or you're a victim to doing whatever the label tells you. Like
Exactly.
when you go there and you built your own buzz and you sit down at the table as an equal, the conversation changes.
Yeah, and there's also different routes to take. A lot of people don't take the distribution route, which I think is a good dope route. I was we put I know there's DistroKid and there's United Masters, there's AWOL, there's TuneCore. All those are good deals, and if they see a song moving, like they'll definitely, you know what I mean. They'll peak, they'll show interest. So don't get jaded by like what's going on. There's a whole lot of options right now.
Are you signed to one of those distros companies?
Can't really talk on that one. I can't
Okay,
talk on that.
that's fine. That's fine. I'm signed to Symphonic Distribution, and I love
Oh
it, man. It's
yeah,
it's a great experience. They're very hands on, and you know what I'm saying. It's almost like working with a label, basically. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's basically like I don't want to disrespect and say baby label, but it's just like a label that it's like it's basically like a label. It's just a smaller label, and they help you.
okay.
My
Um,
bad.
um, so we were talking about a little bit before we got on here about 22 and Confused.
Yes, sir.
So you explained a little bit in the video. I don't want, obviously can't go too much detail, but can you let everybody kind of know like what this new track is about?
Yeah, so I could just say what the video said. So I had a manager, and like things really didn't work out between me and him. Like it was just a lot of shady shit going on. And like I said, I rushed into it. The song was blowing, like the rescue was blowing up. So I was like, damn, I
I
have
gotta
no.
do something now.
Yeah, like I have to keep up with content, but I have to take all these calls with labels, and then I have to make new music, and it was just like way too much for me to like take on at once. So whoever was right in front of me, I just had to go with, because it was like, yo, if you don't go with somebody, like this shit is gonna fold. And I wish going back, I just took that deep breath and was like, no, you're fine. Like you're fine.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you already did it yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
all that pressure all coming in at once. It was
Yeah.
like, yo, I take care of that so I can take care of this. But yeah, so that situation just did not turn out well. Just did not see eye to eye at all. Took a lot of bad advice from people, and that's where you really like this time around, like when things go up, like things are gonna go up. So it's definitely like trust your gut. Like nobody knows you more than you. So it's like, why the fuck am I listening to this person who just came around for one, and then two doesn't even know shit like I know shit. So it's like you really just gotta trust in yourself, like you
And
know
I
what I
think
mean?
that's a big thing, man. A lot of artists, they trust themselves until they get to these positions, and then they think they have to listen to a professional. But there's no rules, man. There's no set way to be successful. There's never been, there's no template. There's none of that. So
Yeah,
I think that's very important that you're emphasizing that once again, like, yo, trust yourself, man. You got yourself this far, you can get yourself even further.
exactly. And like you have to understand that it's okay to fuck up. Like you know what I mean? Like you fuck up, it's not the end of the world unless you
Bro,
say
how
so
many times do you fuck up in your real life? Like all the time, right?
all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. And artists think that if they fuck up one time on a song, like, bro, there's a billion more songs you can make. It's okay. You
Exactly. Like the biggest fuck up, which I made, the biggest fuck up I would take back is not releasing music. Like that's the only way you can fuck up. Every other fuck up can be fixed, and I'm fixing this fuck up. But like the biggest fuck up is not dropping music when the shit is hot. Like when you're popping, I was getting like 1 million views. I was getting 100,000 views on everything, 20,000 views on my story. It's like, yo, drop as much music as you can when that shit is hot.
Cash in, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you never know. Rescue was at that time, Rescue was popping so much, you never know. The next song could have been even bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
stop holding your music. Let it out the vault.
Exactly. I have tons of songs saved up. So it was just like I was going through this period of like depression because, you know what I mean? Like I thought I was alone in it. You know what I mean? Because I was like 22 and it was just like I had to move back home. I had to just like be surrounded by people I didn't really want to be surrounded by anymore. Like I was just felt trapped. And I guess I started talking to my friends from college again. Not again, like we always talk, it was my boys, but it was kind of like everybody's feeling this way because you're in this transitional period of life. You know what I mean? Millennials and Generation Z, older Generation Z kids, we're struggling right now in this section of life because the pandemic fucked our whole trajectory up. Trajectory or whatever the fuck it's called, trajectory. Pandemic, we went into a pandemic at the age of 20, came out 23, 22. We went into the pandemic juniors in high school, came out sophomores in college. Do you know what I mean? So, big chunk of our lives we didn't experience correctly. We didn't grow correctly. We weren't prepared for this next step correctly. And this is technically one of the biggest fucking changes in your life. And it's like, you're just thrown into it. And it's like, into something that's never happened before. Like this has never happened before. The pandemic has never happened. Nobody knows how to deal with this. Nobody knows how to deal with the student loans, all these masks, like all these rules, all these new things. Like this is all new. It's unprecedented. So like, I just really wanted to make a song that like captured that feeling and like kind of thoughts on it.
That's a lot to capture, man. That's a lot to encapsulate. You know what I'm saying? It's like putting a dense amount of stuff into like one little,
and then throw a person on it, like with the girl, and like it's just like a whole bunch of shit. And it was like, damn, like I'm feeling this way. How do I put this in a song? Because I know people are gonna relate to it. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like I think I did a pretty good job.
Cool. Nah, man. I think honestly, that there needs to be more talk about what you just said. Because I'm seeing it. I'm a little bit older than you. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even picture what it'd be like for somebody who is missing, turning 20, turning 21, turning 20, you know what I'm saying? And not be, like you said, that is a part of your life that is crucial to your, who you're going to be in the future and everything. So, you actually taught me something right there. So I appreciate that, man. I never looked at it from that point of view.
My 21st birthday happened in the pandemic, and it was like, this is supposed to be like my young 20s. And it's like, we didn't get to experience any of that. So now that you're a little bit older, this is supposed to be the part where you're like transitioning out of the party life. It's like, yo, we never got to have fun.
I still need to get a couple more parties in. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I didn't get to graduate college. Like, they had to do that shit virtually. And it's like, we just went to school for 4 years to do this shit virtually. Are you crazy? Like, you know what I mean? So
I paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to walk across a virtual stage. Like,
exactly.
It's crazy.
Watch that shit in my living room. Deadass.
Yeah, and my son, my stepson, he's 9, so he had to go to school virtually last year, and even for him, it was tough.
Yeah, no, we adopted my brother's kids, and like they're only 5, and it's just like a 5-year-old sitting in front of a computer for 7 hours a day. Do we really think this is gonna work? What are we even getting from this? You know what I mean?
They're not gonna retain anything. And if we really want to look at it too on like another level, like they're gonna be burnt out by the time they're adults and not be able to do work.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like you're saying, like they possibly have ADD or they have anger management or all these things, like,
or they're just 5.
They're sitting in front of a fucking computer for 7.
Yeah.
They don't even understand, like, this is dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I think that's special. I'm actually even more excited for the song now because, that I think what you're saying is very true and is very unique. And even me, I'm tapped in. I'm around young people all the time. Nobody's ever quite been able to explain it to me in that way. And yeah, I'm rocking with that, man. I'm rocking with that.
Yeah. And it's really hard to touch on the subjects I touch on without being corny sometimes.
Yeah.
You got to do it in a way. It's so weird the way I do my music because, like, for a while I was listening to like all these rappers. I'm listening like Kanye, and I'm like, oh my God, J. Cole. It's like, these guys are just so fucking good. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck are they making this not corny? And then I heard Life is Beautiful by Lil Peep. And I was like, it was just like this big epiphany that happened in my head. And it was like, yo, you don't have to like say all this shit. Like, you don't have to be the best rapper ever to get your point across and for people to vividly feel you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Cause like that song, and Lil Peep, like, God bless the dead, like, he's one of the best ever to do it. Like, obviously he did it himself. He did it off the SoundCloud shit. But like, I think we all can say like it wasn't like Lil Peep was a lyrical genius. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but it was like, damn, he's connecting more to me right now. Like, I feel these lyrics more than I've ever felt anything else. And like, he's not even really saying like that anything crazy. He's just saying what he like truly, truly feels.
Yep.
So like that song, and that kind of changed everything, like everything I wrote and like how I wrote. And like, I kind of just stopped questioning myself when I heard that song. Cause I used to try to like throw the best metaphor in there and all that bullshit. And it's like, that's definitely not an issue. Like, if it happens, it happens. But I'd much rather just say some like shit that I actually felt and like do it that way instead of like lyrical, spiritual. You know what I mean?
And I think that as you get older, you'll get, you know what I'm saying, even more comfortable where you won't even think about it anymore. You know, it becomes a part of you. And I think that's a big point to a lot of indie artists that are, you know, going to be listening right now. A lot of up and coming artists going to be listening right now. Man, you just got to be yourself. It sounds so generic. It sounds so basic and so cliche. But if you see the artists who are successful, I mean, look at Kanye right now, still unapologetically himself.
No.
And he's polarizing, but that's who he is. And even at this late stage in his career, he hasn't changed really from that platform. And that's kind of why he's so popular. Drake, J. Cole, all of these people as well. You know what I'm saying? They're really being themselves. And they also happen to be exceptionally gifted in, you know, in what they do as well, you know, as far as like the rapping and singing and production, etc. So all right, so I got a couple questions I ask everybody that comes on here, man. And I want to ask you, who are some indie artists that you rock with, that you listen to?
Indie artists that I rock with. That's a good one. I guess I would have to say people from my area, like, because I really tried not to. I really don't listen to anything but myself a lot. Like, there's days where I just listen to my music back to back. But I listened to Soli Had. He's recently indie. He was with a label, and now he's back to being indie. Still listen to Suave, Sally Paper Planes, C.416. I listen to those guys a lot. Trying to think of who else I listen to. I listen to, you know what I mean? If I come across something on TikTok, I'll definitely give it a listen. I like a couple songs from there. I like the New York City drill that's going on right now on TikTok. It's kind of cool. There's a whole little Jersey and New York City going crazy right now. And I basically just, you know what I mean? Like, other than that, like, I kind of just listen to the same music I have from like the 2000s. Like, a lot of my music is 2000s inspired.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. I love the 2000 to 2010 period was crazy for music. Bro.
Yeah, especially like when Rescue blew up. I know I just said I don't like the sound people, but like, people were like, "Oh my God, this sounds like Gym Class Heroes and Kid Cudi." I was kind of like, "Yo, like, so
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah, those are great people to sound like, man.
Exactly. I was definitely like, you know what I mean? Like, especially Gym Class.
You kind of look like the dude from Gym Class Heroes a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it was like, hearing that, I was like, holy shit! Like, that's exactly kind of like not what we're going for, but that's like a direct influence. I used to love them. So
yeah. Okay. And you know, this is another question I ask everybody. If you could work with anybody in the industry right now, producer, rapper, singer, who would you want to work with?
I would just work with Drake. I love Drake.
We all love Drake, bro. I'm glad that you admit it too.
I feel like if it wasn't Drake, I feel like Drake is just so easy. It would probably be definitely want to work with a female rapper. I feel like I would either work with like a female rapper or Lil Nas X, just because I feel like those are the only two lanes that are different right now, like fully different. I think like what Lil Nas X is doing right now, like, he's like a Kanye aspect of our era. Like, he's ushering a new He's the only one doing something completely new I've never seen before.
He's challenging everything we knew about the music industry.
Exactly that, and then even on the other side of shit, like it's just like you've never seen something like that before. Like, I have never seen something like that, and it's like you can say that I've seen it before. And the same thing with female rap right now. I just think it's like in a dope spot, and it's like same shit. It's like you've never seen women come together on this type of shit, and it's like, oh shit. So I definitely want to work with like Lil Nas X, like Doja Cat, or like Flo Milli. I fuck with those.
Okay, those are great shit. Those are great. Those are great artists right there. Those are great artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that you though. I'll go back to this. Not a lot of dudes out here really being honest and telling them how much they love Drake, bro. Drake is that dude.
Oh no. Yeah. I like that guy a lot. That's my.
Everybody calls me a stan, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Before we head out here, man, tell the people what you want them to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell them where to follow you. Any information you want them to know, let them know, bro.
Hey, Johnny2phones on everything. 22 and Confused coming out very soon. Pre-save link is in pretty much any bio on all my socials. And I'll see you guys when that shit drops.
Absolutely. All right, man. I appreciate you being on here.